Four major compensation plans exist in the network marketing industry. There are more than just four, but 90, I don't know how high of a percentage, but a vast majority of plans fall into one of four categories, either breakaways, matrix, or a unilevel or a binary. What we're finding is recently, in the last several years, most of the plans, the modern plans, are a hybrid. They combine two or more of the different kinds of comp plans. Here's a good example of probably the most common hybrid example is something that combines a binary plan with a unilevel plan. Um, there are pros and cons to every kind of plan. I've looked at them, and you can talk to just about anybody that has experience in the industry. And many people are beginning to agree that a combination of a binary and a unilevel provides the best overall program for someone who's just a super part-timer to someone who wants to go out and be a big money earner. Now, I want to talk about the binary just a little bit. Yoli uses a binary compensation plan and a unilevel compensation plan for the people that move forward in the compensation plan further deeper into the compensation plan, I guess. But most of the people, probably a majority of their income is going to come from a binary plan. Now, I used to be one of those people that just did not like binaries. I would even call myself a binary hater. I even preached against people joining companies that had binary compensation plans, and that's because that's what I had been taught, and I never could truly say it was not good to be in a binary because I'd never been in a binary compensation plan before, and I started to realize that all the people that were teaching me not to be in binary compensations, they had never been in binary compensation plans before either. And so, you hear this kind of old saying in network marketing, people are always down on what they're not up on. And I think that people aren't up on the benefits and pros of the binary, and then how adding on the unilevel executive matching bonus program smooths out many of the cons that some people might have seen in binaries in the past. So here's the way binary works. It's a synergy and teamwork are two of the big benefits of it. Basically what it is, everybody's building two teams. Let me give you an example. Okay, we got a guy named Jimmy. All right, and Jimmy happens to be having dinner with some friends of his. He's got 6 of his friends sitting around, and they're having dinner, and he blasts a cap in front of them, and people start asking questions, and he explains how it doesn't have any sugar, and people like it, and he just gives them some basic explanations, and everybody seems to be interested. They're like, wow, this is really great. Well, the next day, Harry calls Jimmy and says, "Hey, Jimmy, I was thinking about that Yoli deal that you showed me, and I'd like to do it. I'd like to be a part of it." So Jimmy enrolls Harry, okay, or sponsors Harry. That's another term that's used. So Jimmy puts Harry on his left-hand team, okay, his left side team. Then let's say one of the other people calls that was at the party and says the same thing. And so Sally says to Jimmy, I'd like to do it. I'd like to be a part of that Yoli thing. And so she enrolls, maybe it's the day after Harry, and so Jimmy puts Sally on the right-hand team, okay? Now, let's say another person from that party calls up Jimmy and says, "Hey, I'd like to do it." And so Sonny, Jimmy puts down underneath Harry on the left hand side, because Jimmy can only build 2 teams. So if Jimmy continues to bring on more people, guess what? Either Harry or Sally are going to benefit from that, and Harry and Sally benefit because they were the first ones to say yes. Okay. Next, Jimmy calls Cher, in fact, and he says, "Hey, Cher, look, Harry and Sally and Sonny, they've all come in, and I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Is it something you wanted to join us and work with us on this thing?" And Cher says, "Sure, I'll do it too." And obviously this is just an example. But Jimmy puts Sally over there on the right-hand side, and then Martin, same thing happens, and then Lewis, the same thing happens, okay? So Jimmy's now got his 2 teams. He's got his left-hand team going. He's got his right-hand team going. Now let's say that Sonny talks to his neighbor, and Sonny's neighbor wants to join. We're just going to call that person Sonny 1, so you can see that it was sponsored by Sonny. And then Sonny talks to somebody at work, and they want to join, and so now Sonny takes Sonny number 2 and puts him right there, okay? Because in order for Sonny to be qualified for commissions, he's got to have one person on the left and one person on the right that he has personally put there. Okay, so now look what we've got. We've got Harry here, who hasn't really sponsored anybody yet, so he's not actually qualified to get any commissions at this point. However, he's already got a team building. So all Harry needs to do is put one person on his left down under Sunny 1, and then put one person on Harry's right, and now Harry starts to be qualified to earn commissions. But what's great is the work that Jimmy is doing, putting Sunny down there and Martin down there, and then the work Sunny is doing are all benefiting Harry. So that's how it builds synergy, and that's how it builds teamwork. Okay, and let's say Lewis then brings on somebody, and Lewis puts them down on their right side. Now Sally and Cher are both benefiting from the work that Jimmy did, putting Lewis down there, but also any work that Lewis might do. And each person would do the same thing, and they work on building their two synergistic teams. Now, using the example that we're looking at, okay, that was the structural part of it. Now I want to talk about the specific numbers. Let's say every person on here is a full-blown business builder, and every single one of them is on $200 of PV, $240 auto ship, $200 PV. Okay, so now that if you look on the left-hand side, there's 5 people, so there's $1,000 in GV group volume. Actually, it would be called LGV, left group volume, and then right volume or group volume, 800 on the right-hand side. Okay, so what happens is the binary compensations, the way most of them work and the way Yoli's works is this: they're going to pay 5% on both sides down to the point where they are balanced. Okay, so where do these two balance? They don't balance at 1,000. Okay, there's 1,000 on the left, there's only 800 on the right, so it balances at 800. So what's going to happen is they're going to pay commission on $800 on both sides. That's basically they're basically going to pay 5%, so a $40 for the left team, $40 for the right team, and so this person is going to receive, Jimmy's going to receive on the binary commissions for that week, and this is done every single week, this is calculated, he's going to be paid a total of $80, 40 plus 40, okay? But what they do is, since the commission has already been paid on those, when the next week starts, Jimmy has $200 to start the week, because he hasn't been paid on that $200 yet, so he starts the next week with $200 on his left-hand leg and then 0 on his right-hand leg. So every week there's always going to be 0 on one of the legs, okay? And then let's say that next week, let's say nobody on the left-hand side does anything. Everybody gets sick, nobody sponsors anybody, nobody has a conversation with anybody, but Lewis over here, he's industrious, he brings on his second person, so he's now qualified for his commissions. Well, what that means is that Lewis number 2, let's say he buys $200, at the end of that next week, now those two legs are balanced, okay? Now there's 200 on one and 200 on the other, so Jimmy will be paid on that volume on both sides, and then it'd actually be 0 on either side. Hopefully that makes basic sense, but that's just the general structure of a binary compensation plan. I want to take some time to go in the next video a little bit about the executive check match, but let me just say this: if you'd like an explanation, a longer, more detailed explanation of this from one of the founders of the company, there's a 20-minute online explanation by Robbie Fender, one of the co-founders of Yoli, and you can get that by either asking the person who basically invited you to come look at these programs, these videos, or you can just send me an email, and there's my email address for everybody to see. So I realize I might be setting myself up for a lot of emails, but feel free to email me at jbrad@me.com, and I will email you the link to the full-on presentation by Mr. Robbie Fender. Okay, stick around for the executive check match explanation here too.